Hey, thanks for checking out my review of Obsession, Curry Barker's first film. I'm sure this is one of a million reviews that are going up on YouTube this weekend, so thanks for watching. And this is my first video, so please bear with me as I get used to doing this and my lighting and all the imagery, all the things I want popping up here, like such as that, and such as this to figure it out. But yeah, so Obsession, written and directed by Curry Barker, his first full-length movie, feature film. He made Milk and Cereal, I think, in 2024, which was excellent, like very unnerving, very original, and made alongside his creative partner Cooper Tomlinson, who's also in this movie, of course. And the movie also stars Michael Johnston and Indy Navarrete, both of whom are getting a lot of attention, of course, especially Indy Navarrete for her completely unhinged performance. It's really remarkable. Kind of getting, I think like this year, it's kind of going to be her in the same way that a few years ago it was like Mia Goth with the whole X trilogy, especially Pearl. And then a couple years ago, or maybe 2023, Naomi Scott with Smile 2. So Indy Navarrete is going to, take that role and get that much attention this year, and deservedly so. Um, and yeah, I mean, this movie's got a lot of hype, obviously. Especially since Curry Barker has done so many great things before, and just the last few years, we've had so many great examples of like YouTubers and or people from comedy entering the horror space and doing some of the best stuff with it. Obviously, Jordan Peele over the last few years, especially with Get Out in 2017, but then Raka Raka, the Filippo brothers with Talk to Me and Bring Her Back. And then I think the best example is last year's Zach Kreger Weapons. That movie is brilliant. That movie blew my fucking mind. And I wouldn't say Obsession is on that level for me, but it's close. It's maybe up there with Talk to Me. Um, and yeah, I mean, the basic premise, it's a guy played by Michael Johnston who's kind of in love with his coworker, Nikki, who's played by Indy Navarrete. So, he gets that, goes to the kind of like magic shop and finds kind of piece of wood to break open, and he wants her to be in love with him and love him more than anybody else. And, very much based on like the monkey's paw kind of idea of be careful what you wish for. And you can tell right away that like the mixture of comedy and horror and suspense and just awkwardness is very much like Curry Barker's prior stuff. And it just gets fucking unhinged. Like, as I'm sure a lot of other people are saying, like it is extremely tense, which is interesting because I said in my like social media review a few days ago when I saw it that it's amazing to me that a movie about like two normal, quote unquote, normal people, just a couple, and is scarier and more intense and more just unpredictable than a lot of like modern horror movies with monsters and demons and all that shit. Like, it's just two people, but the performances and just the way Curry Barker thinks outside the box of how to show that this woman who's under the spell is just increasingly unhinged and just manic and violent. It's the worst, it's the worst case scenario of somebody being obsessed with you and having a crush on you and being in love with you, and it just goes to like the nth degree as far as he can push it, and in ways that you kind of expect, but also in ways you don't expect. Um, and yeah, you're just kind of on the edge of your seat wondering where this is going. And a lot of the discourse around it's been interesting too, because obviously the marketing, it's almost like Michael Johnston's character, Bear, is the victim, and in a way, he certainly is kind of like unwillingly or unwittingly kind of bringing this upon himself. But I think the deeper meaning of it that a lot of people are picking up is that Nikki is really a victim, and it's one of those movies where by the end of it, it ends in a really great way, and it ends kind of in a really profound way that leaves you thinking, just like the ramifications of what's happened and what's going to happen, and it's really an interesting commentary on like agency and bending people's will to your own, and it's a fascinating look into relationships, I think. And yeah, I mean, there's so much you could say about like the direction. The acting again is great. I think I've seen a few other people point out how Kerry Barker's use of like shadows and lighting, especially on Nikki, is really unsettling. The way she's often like in shadow to kind of literally and figuratively show that she's not like her true self, that there's something else going on there. Use of like lighting in her eyes to kind of make it a little unsettling. And there's just a lot of like awkward moments that you'll laugh at, but then you'll also kind of be really freaked out by. It even reminded me a little bit of The Exorcist. Not that she like starts looking scary or anything like that supernaturally, but just like, I mean, there's definitely a clear homage to something she does on a carpet. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Like that's got to be a reference to a scene from The Exorcist. Not that I'm trying to spoil anything. I don't think that really is. But yeah, even when it gets violent, like you kind of see where it's going, but it just stays with it a bit longer. And the use of sound is great. Like the jump scares, I think, are really effective in that they just amplify the horror that this guy is in. And again, it's totally his fault. Like I'm not saying you should feel bad for him. He's really the villain of the movie with what he does to this woman. And yeah, it's just really fucking effective. So again, you don't need me to be the only person. I'm sure to tell you there's plenty of bigger YouTubers because it's my first video, obviously. But I just wanted to like jump on here because this is one of those movies, like I think Talk to Me and Bring Her Back and Weapons, where as soon as I was done seeing it, I just wanted to like talk to people about it, tell people about it. Talking to people like walking out of the theater saying like that was really fucking good and twisted and original, and again more complicated, more complex than you might expect it to be, and then it would be under, in the hands of somebody else who didn't know what he was doing. But Curry Barker certainly first like feature time out, fucking nailed it. And he's talking about now that he wants to do Texas Chainsaw or Nightmare on Elm Street. I think he could totally knock it out much better than pretty much anybody else doing horror. Again, like that, there's something about YouTubers and people from comedy that just have like, I think it's the knowledge of timing. It's just like the unhingedness to not play it safe, to take audiences in uncomfortable places. So this movie is definitely not going to be for everybody. But I think it goes as far as it needs to go to really make its point. And yeah, I mean, it's excellent. If it's got to be, it's destined to be the best horror movie, I think, in 2026, maybe the best movie. Just like Weapons, I think, was my favorite movie by far last year. Even though like Sinners, another kind of horror, even though there's more to it than that, that was great too. But Weapons was just by far the best. I think this is easily going to be in the top 5 of this year total, if not my number one. So yeah, definitely go check out Obsession. It is fantastic. And yeah, thanks for watching.